I've had people send me cans to do reviews, and then I've had cans literally blow up, and I'm like, hey, I can't not post this online.
Welcome to GOA Say the Second podcast. My name is John, and today I'm joined by Alex from ANR Design. Alex, how are you today?
I'm great. How are you?
Good. So tell the people who you are and all that other fun stuff.
My name is Alex Costa. I am the owner and CEO of ANR Design. I do have a beautiful business partner named John Blevins, who is never in any videos or anything. He hides, but he is fantastic. I am a equipment manufacturer. We kind of identify ourselves as like a do-it-all shop. Our principal income in business is Kydex holsters, mag carriers, on-person stuff, mostly inside the waistband concealment items. But we also have a nylon division that we farm out to our buddy in South Dakota, and we have a aluminum goods optic mount and optical accessories. Well, not just optical accessories, but gun parts side to the business as well. That our friends in Michigan build parts for us. And that brand is called Anvil, ANVL. So we have a pretty diverse portfolio. But yeah,
cool.
Holsters.
Holsters are great.
Plastic buckets.
Even better. Well, before we go on to our first segment, we have to give you a little gift here. This is from our friends over at Palmetto and AAC Ammo. Our good friend Cameron sponsors the podcast for the year. So you'll be getting a gift package from them. I don't know if it's exactly this, but you'll be getting a gift package from them. You can fight Cameron off camera if you want.
Off camera, I'll just text him.
Yeah.
I'll send him feet pics tonight.
So again, thank you Palmetto and Cameron for doing this for us. So all our guests this year are going to get a cool gift from PSA.
I love you, Cameron.
We all love you, Cameron. But PSA, big supporters of GOA and the Second Amendment. So we wanted to hop on and be a sponsor for that. So you get a cool gift from them at some point.
And we make a ton of PSA holsters now.
Yeah.
So shout out to PSA for choosing us to do holsters for them.
Awesome.
I appreciate you guys.
So first, I love all the guys over there.
They're good dudes.
They're good people. When Jamin was on, I love his like no nonsense kind of attack on life.
Yeah.
He's just no
compromise.
No compromise. And just his business sense is like, yeah, we had this issue, so I bought a company. I was like, cool. And then I bought another company. I was like, okay.
I mean, it's the smart thing to do.
Oh, it's the smartest. We were
when
talking
you have
about it.
The financial power that they have, the purchasing power that they have, they can do a lot.
Well, and that's the big issue everybody runs into is when you get hold up. If anybody, I'm going to break the fourth wall. Nobody makes their own stuff. A lot of people don't make their own stuff. A lot of people buy parts. Like you would, it's just more cost effective. But when we went and did a tour of the PSA facility and we're walking through and I'm like, with Cameron, I'm like, are those buffer tubes? He goes, yeah. I'm like, you're making your own buffer tubes? He's like, yeah. Nobody makes their own buffer tubes. Everybody buys them.
Springs.
They're doing that. They're doing they're making everything.
One company makes all the springs. You go to some company that has only springs on their website. They don't make the springs.
Well, it's the same thing. Nobody
buffers. You buy a Knights, you buy anyone else, pick another company. It's got the same buffer made by the same, well, not the same buffer, but a buffer made by the same company.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry. We've blown your mind.
I would say the only, other than PSA making their own stuff, the only other company that truly does make all their stuff in house would be like CZUB, or some of the major brands from Europe that are 210 acres of manufacturing facility with the town built in a donut around the manufacturing campus. Those are the companies would make their own stuff, but stateside, it's all MIM parts. It's all,
You're buying your springs from Spring Co. or somebody. And
Azimuth
does a bunch of stuff.
Bolt carriers, barrels, slides, slide blanks.
I was allowed to say stuff. Sorry, I'm not allowed to say, but yes, I know.
You can bleep that company. No, it's industry stuff.
Yeah, industry stuff. your handguards all come from one place.
They're all extruded somewhere, you know.
Well, now that we got into that and broke the fourth wall, let's go ahead and get into our first segment, which is rapid fire questions. I'm going to ask you 5 questions. You answer it as quickly or slowly as you want. This segment is brought to you by Blackout Coffee. Check out Blackout Coffee's GOA No Compromise blend. All the portion of that goes back to GOA. Support companies that support GOA. Get your caffeine take or hit from Blackout Coffee. You can actually get it from our web store as well. So, first question I've got for you. If you could go back in time and change any point in history, would you?
No. Every mistake I've made, which is every mistake that I've paid for, is I'm a trial by fire guy. You don't know till you fail. And then you just find that end goal, find that solution, and move towards it. Every single mistake swear to God, every mistake. I still make mistakes. Even 10 years in, we still make mistakes. We still make bad judgment calls, bad purchasing calls, bad extrapolations of data, whatever. We still make those mistakes, and every single one of them is a learning opportunity to grow from and not make those mistakes again.
Yeah. No, I get that.
No regrets.
No regrets?
Yeah.
Is that tattooed somewhere?
No.
Okay. Next, I've got, what is your go-to EDC?
Well, great question. I do rotate through a lot because I own a holster company. So, right now I started shooting USPSA and 2-gun last year more religiously. Competition wise, I would do like PRS prior to that. Then I'd show up to USPSA with a CZ Shadow 2 all tricked out for carry optics, and it's a great gun. But, I built out a Glock 47, added a ZR tactical brass guide rod and 18-pound spring, put a CNH brass plug in the grip, and put the Glock Performance trigger in it. And that thing shoots almost as flat as some of my CZs. So I rotate between a Cajun Gunworks CZ SP01 tactical and a Glock 47 right now, currently.
It's dope.
You can make those Glocks shoot soft.
Oh, the amount of people that I know have spent oodles of money to make their Glock shoot soft. It's insane.
That trigger, that Glock trigger is like $79 from Glock on sale. The ZR tactical guide rod assembly, I think, is like $50 or $60, and then the plug on sale at CNH is like $40, and it shoots stupid flat.
It's not bad.
No. I learned a lot about balance. A lot of people will put tactical lights on the front of their guns, and they're like, "Oh, this is going to make me shoot flatter." And it's like, okay, it does prevent muzzle rise, but then you're going past go with your red dot. Like return to zero is big. So like a lot of people would bash like SIGs guns and say, "Oh, SIGs guns have a high height over bore," but if they're built and balanced right, you can get it return to zero. So even if it has a higher sight over bore and a little bit fatter recoil impulse, it's where every time it ends up on the same part of the target, your point of aim, point of impact, in a return to zero, you can shoot really fast and really flat. So balance.
Balance is the key.
I stopped carrying a tactical light on my ADC. People are like, well, how are you going to POD your target? It's like, how am I going to check something going on with my motor while pointing my gun at it? So I always carry a little Surefire E1D Defender. I've had this for like 5 years now. Goes everywhere with me. It's got a strike tool on it, and it flies with me. And if I need a flashlight, I got a flashlight.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I don't do weapon mounted lights. I always just carry a flashlight when I carry. I don't get. It's a whole nother crowd of arguments with people.
There's perspectives both ways.
Yeah.
I'd rather shoot faster, flatter, faster, like softer, more rounds where I want them to go. It's just crazy. You see all the guys shooting USPSA and no one shoots with lights, and then you start talking about balance and your ability to do faster follow-up shots and getting that dot back where you want it and take a light off, balance the gun. That's why I added weight forward and aft to give that Glock a little bit more weight to it, and shoots great.
All right. I love that. But this next one is, what's the most recent gun you got?
HK, since I have an FFL SOT,
Yeah.
most of the guns have been on the books for a long time. The most recent gun that we got is a bleep from PSA, and I can't talk about it. And the second most recent gun would be an HK CC9. HK signed us on to do holsters for the new pistol.
How do you like that?
It's great.
Is it?
It's snappy. It'll be nice when aftermarket recoil springs come out for it, so you can smooth it out, balance it, match it to the loads you're shooting. But they built it to the NATO, was it 225 AC spec, so 15,000 round torture test to NATO spec. Its ergonomics are great, triggers good, controls are good. It's just snappy.
Just like that HK has separated themselves from Germany and made HK USA and has actually come out with some cool stuff.
Yeah, they've got some pretty cool plans, and we're really happy that they decided to include us. And I posted a photo of a grenade launcher holster we made for LMT, and I had to make a M320 HK one for a customer of ours. And then they saw that in a Facebook group that I was in, one of their guys in the defense side. And then that's how we were introduced to HK.
Angela? Are you working with Angela?
I know Angela.
Yeah.
No, I met Angela years ago, but no, through the defense side. I won't name names on the defense side, but
yeah.
we made holsters for this new pistol, and they were like, hell yeah. I was like,
I used to work with two of the guys who are over there now. Nathan, who's their director of sales, and then Todd Holding, who's in their engineering department now.
cool.
He used to own Holding Precision. Todd, if you watch this, correct me, but Todd's good people. Nathan's good people. Everybody over at HK USA, they want stuff. I know everybody makes fun of HK saying hates customers, but they did want stuff here.
Always wanted stuff here. It's Germany gatekeeping. It's Europe though.
It's Europe.
Europe has like every company that's European based that we work with. You've got the US side that's always pushing really hard for US market stuff. And then the European side will be like, well, we don't do that here. It's like, of course you don't do that here. Like, but 80% of your business comes from the United States. Why wouldn't you build more things to cater to the States? Do you hate money?
I think they do. I really do.
It's just weird. They have different principles versus not principles versus direction versus partners, board of directors, boomers.
Yeah. We'll get into the boomers later. So let's see. I think that was question number 4. Number 5, and the last one is trying to think of what's a good one for you, but I guess we're gonna go with, are aliens real? Do you believe in?
Yeah.
ET.
Sure. We're here.
Are you an ancient alien kind of guy?
No, not really. I don't really watch TV, but you know, if we're here and there's some weird animals on Earth, there's gonna be some stuff elsewhere.
I can't remember, what was I watching the other day. There was something I watched there. There's it looks like a deer, but it's got like nostrils on its head that open up. And I'm like, that is not from this planet. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, it's like a dick or something.
Yeah.
I mean, Axis that you can hunt in Texas, which is from India. Their sinuses are external to their face, so they get these like weird little flaps. Like, yeah, there's some platypus. Like, there's one for you.
The platypus. Oh, it's a design flaw. It's like somebody puts like, I'm gonna throw everything together.
Yeah, or water bears. Like, you boil water, it doesn't always kill them. Like, they're pretty cool too.
Water bear. Oh, no, I remember. I know what you're talking about. The little, yeah, water bears.
It's like the only organism that can like live in space for a certain amount of time, or whatever.
What?
Yeah, you can like eject them into like actual space. Like,
really?
Yeah, I guess so. Allegedly.
Who's trying this?
I don't know. Some people think they showed up on Earth on a meteorite or something. I don't know. Yeah, I believe that there's life elsewhere.
I'm with you on that. There's got to be.
Space is cool.
There's no way. Their space is dope.
Yeah.
Like, to think that we're the only thing on a rock in the middle of this giant space. Or we could go with like the Men in Black theory. We're actually all on marbles.
Yeah. Maybe.
Who knows?
Elon Musk, terraform Mars for us, please.
That'd be.
What are the gun laws that are going to be like?
Freedom.
Maybe.
I hope.
We'll see.
We'll see. All right. So, you do holsters. You do bunch of cool stuff. What made you get into that?
I'm from Massachusetts originally, and I grew up shooting guns in Boy Scouts. My family told my family, I used to shoot a lot in Boy Scouts, but that was kind of like where I was allowed to shoot. My mom didn't want guns in the house. When you tell your kid who wants to be an engineer, no, you do exactly the opposite. Great family, great parents, but I always had a cap gun collection, a knife collection, whatever. And that's why my dad brought my cap gun collection up and dumped it in my garage the other day. That was cool. Thanks for all the junk.
Aren't parents good for that though?
They unload stuff into my garage and then I find it after they leave because they can't throw it away. They can't emotionally bring themselves to throw it away.
So they bring it to you? Yes.
Yeah, they do it. They sneak stuff in all the time. They're like, it's horrible.
So,
but anyway, sorry to divert. I don't want to, I squirrel.
Oh no, we could.
I got a fire. My parents bought me a shotgun when I was still in college because I wanted to like shoot, trap, and skeet. I turned 21, got my carry to conceal A class in Massachusetts, and I got a gun, got a pistol. Wanted to take classes. Saw that there was a requirement for gear, holster, 2 mag carriers for pistol, and my buddy sold me like an MX6. MX2, I don't remember, whatever the old Insight Technologies lights were that had the crossbar that you had to pull down with your fingers.
Oh yeah.
Horrible the tool for holsters. And so I reached out to, I think at the time it was like Raven Concealment and Bravo were like the only 2 holster companies. And I basically asked them to quote me out for a holster, like an OWB strong side and like 2 pistol mag carriers for my M&P 40. Yeah, it was my first pistol. Make fun of me. It's fine.
40.
I knew stopping power wasn't real. As an engineer, I was like, you can't quantify something that's not quantifiable. But I think it was like a $450 quote for a custom made holster. They needed me to mail the light in. And I was like, $450? I just got out of college. I'm broke. And then my buddy who was living with me at the time, he was like, dude, why don't you just go on YouTube and look up how to use Kydex? And I had used Kydex before. I didn't know that it was like, oh, that's what that is. And so I just went to Home Depot and built a press and bought some Kydex off of some website and started pressing holsters, wearing it to classes, wearing it, posting all my creations on Instagram. And at the same time, I did start my business around the same time I started a business with, a little bit after, with a guy from work. And we were 3D printing like firearms novelty stuff like tie bars, money clips, cufflinks, like stupid stuff. And we used a company called Shapeways out of New York, so people can just like pick the material they want. It would print and they could get it. So that's kind of like just doing some weird stuff, jewelry. And I was making holsters, and then the holsters, like people were offering me money at events on Instagram. So I'm like, hey, I just want to buy a holster from you. How much? I was like, I don't know, $40. Like, I don't know what this was worth. That's kind of how it snowballed. Started making gear from ourselves and then started making holsters in the basement.
I mean, listen, you're not a real gun guy unless you went through a 40 phase at one point in your life.
Sure.
I mean, we all did it at one point.
We can blame the FBI for that.
Not only can we blame the FBI, but I'm going to blame Obama because during the 2012 scare where 9mm was flying off the shelf, you could buy 40 for like $10 a box because nobody wanted it.
Sure.
But as a cheap, like when that happened, I was in college. And so I did buy what did I get? I think I still have it. It was a SIG SP 2022 and 40 because they were cheap at the time. They were like 300 reliable, and it came with night sights and a holster, if you want to call it a holster.
When everyone thought night sights were cool.
Yeah. And then for $300, it's like, cool, I'll buy it. And then because 40 was cheap, I could still train. And then 40 became dumb again.
It was always dumb because 357 SIG existed.
Yes.
But I think at the time there wasn't like GunTube didn't exist. YouTube was really,
it was in infancy.
Yeah.
stage where you're
and online publications were almost zero. So people are getting their information out of print. And then you have this overwhelming boomer release of data that 40 FBI picked it has to be good, and then people invent terms like stopping power, knockdown power, and then you're just like, oh well, I don't really know what to research. I don't have a ton of gun friends where I was at the time either. I just got out of college and I'm like, I want a gun, and I didn't have people that could like steer me away from that. Like even like in mass, you have to go take a class. It's like a one-on-one, and that guy was like, never drop the hammer, never dry fire a gun. You'll break it. Don't ever drop the hammer on this, blah, 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 blah. Like that was the information that you were getting fed at the time. So I was like, I'll just get a 40.
That was I still have, I went to a gun shop about a month or two ago. I still had somebody said, don't dry fire. It was a number fire. It was a modern striker. Don't dry fire. I was like, can I dry fire this? I want to feel the trigger. No, it'll break it. When did this myth come up? Were people?
Wilson said it like 2 months ago on his Instagram.
Did he really?
Yeah. Anyways, if you pick a 40 now in life, you really have been watching the wrong videos. I think there's so much wow, I just peaked there. There's an whistle peak. There's an overwhelming amount of information on the internet. Don't pick 40. Like 9mm is great.
I think most people are buying 40s now only because they're police trade-ins and they're cheap as dirt.
Or competition shooters that are loading.
That too, yeah.
To hit the power factor. That's about it.
That's still something I don't understand, that power factor nonsense.
Grain weight, velocity.
It doesn't make
a measurement.
It doesn't make any sense to me. Just let me shoot what I want to shoot.
No, it's like, I'm going to go shoot major in USPSA, but I'm going to shoot an open gun that shoots like a 22. So I'm going to get more points for my alphas than you do, or Charlies or whatever. Cool. It's competition thing's funny.
God.
I shoot competition. It's fun.
It's a blast.
Yeah.
I really do I want to go shoot a PRS match so bad.
Call me before you do.
I will. Because I'm getting my stuff set up now.
I've got some great YouTube videos. I do full commentary of like what position, what bag I'm using, why. I've got videos on how to zero scopes and data. Oh, I nerd for PRS.
I got addicted to long range shooting. We went and took a class out in Idaho 2 years ago, and we went out to like 1600, and I just got so addicted to it.
Yeah.
It's like, if you've never shot I'm going to break the fourth wall again. Long range is not 300 yards, folks. Like, that's a good distance, but that's not long range shooting.
400 yards is barely long range.
Like 1,000 yards plus. Once you start hitting 1,000 yard plus,
I'd say 700.
You think
700 to 1,200 is considered long range? Yeah.
It's the addiction. I didn't know how addicting it was until I did it.
Long range could be defined as when wind starts to move you significantly at distance, depending on grain weight. So like long distance for 5.56, 1,000 yards, right? There's some cool rounds coming out for 5.56. I think Black Arc just came out with like an 80.5 grain. Badlands has been loading 85 grains in the NAS 3 cases. So that's a big bullet.
Yeah.
In those stainless steel, split cases. Cool stuff, just not a ton of data on these different grain weights. So if you're putting into applied ballistics or whatever. Anyway, if you get into long range, you'll actually understand your normal AR a lot better and what your AR is capable of. You get dudes roll up to matches like, I shoot 55 grain, and you're like, oh, well, there's a going out at 600 yards, rounds are blowing off. I think PRS teaches a lot. There's a lot that you can learn from shooting long range competitions. Building position. So like getting behind a barricade and setting your body up. Is your dominant leg up when you're kneeling behind something, when to do 2 knees down, how to support your rifle off of tripods, using bags. People are like, oh, look at that cuddle bag pillow. It's like, yeah, dude, 3 points of contact. Throwing a 30-pound rifle, doing a cattle gate under time, you get really good at moving your gun. I think that's important as well. Understanding wind and just understanding what like environment does. Like, oh, cool. The clouds, it's a hot day and the clouds just kicked over. your density altitude and barometrics are going to change, and now your bullet's going to drop or it's going to rise, and it could shift you by a foot at 1,000 yards because you went 1/10 off on your data.
Well, and that was what I was a novice, and that's what really blew my mind. We took the class up in Idaho, so you got high desert. You know, we went back to, and I live in Phoenix. We went back to Phoenix, and we went to go shoot the same distance. So I'm like, all right, I've got to already have all my data. I just clicked it in, and I'm like, what the heck is happening? I'm not hitting where I'm aiming. I'm not. There's something's going off, and I re-put everything. This is when Trylock we could use to still use the cool app.
Sure.
And I went to go put in my data again, and it updated, and I was like, oh, I'm way off.
Oh yeah,
everything.
Yeah, you just grab your Kestrel 5700, take data. Then if you get involved in PRS, the community's good. I kind of took a break from it because it was a lot of travel. There was no good places local within 2 or 3 hours of me, so I started shooting 2-gun. And then like the community kind of got weird. Like it got way too egotistical, like at least local to me. Like there's a lot of ego, a lot of drama. People get upset over silly things. So I was like, all right, take a break. A lot of the guys I shoot PRS with also kind of took a break. I want more like NRL Hunter matches near me where it's like a spot and shoot. Like you're behind something or you're off stage. You don't know anything about the stage. You get up there, range guys like, all right, your targets are A, C, and B, somewhere in this sector, go. And then that's when like having binos, like the SIG 10Ks, you can put your data into the binos. So when you laze a target, it gives you your hold.
Oh, that's dope.
Yeah. And then all you do is put your data per stage. So you put your Kestrel data into it and you literally just laze it. And so you literally like get in position where you know you're going to be shooting that direction, build your position, get behind your gun, and then you just bring your hands up, find your target, laze it, drop your binos, like carry a bino chest rig, dump your binos, get behind your gun, shoot it, and find the next target, laze it, shoot it. Those are cool. Like that's what I'd really like to do more of.
Probably what I need to get. Right now my build is in 6.5 PRC. We went out to, so far we've gone out to 980 with it.
Nice.
I'm just trying to work in it, but since we're in the desert, our targets are up on a mountain.
Yeah. And
so it's so weird because you try to get a wind call, it's desert. Nothing's freaking moving because everything's.
But you get splash at least, right?
We got some splash.
That'll give you a wind.
It gave us just enough wind call to get it. But since we were going from the valley to the top of the mountain, the wind shift from where it was at, trying to figure it out and dial it, was just running into so many issues.
That's like you got to do a confirmation shot almost.
Yeah.
See your wind. And then you don't see your crosswinds if you don't have grass. And like the other big complaint is when they do the New England regional matches, you know, Ridgeline used to host them. You'd be shooting into vegetation with no splash. You don't see anything. You're like, where did I miss? Was I off left? Oh, the wind switched because it's a toilet bowl of wind. Where did I go? And then you get all the pros all grumpy because they can't, they go shoot Oklahoma and they get grass everywhere. And then they go out to Northeast and they're like, a lot of the pros won't shoot the Northeast matches because it's just, they'll drop them on the leaderboards for the year for PRS. It's rough in New England shooting, but it's good. You learn a lot. So
you grew up in Mass. Where are you at now?
Our manufacturing facility is in Manchester, New Hampshire. Yep.
Enjoying.
Cool. I love it.
Free state of New Hampshire.
People don't realize how free New Hampshire is. We have the right to protect ourselves in our vehicle with any weapon.
Really?
Yep. You can have a machine gun transferable in the front seat and defend your vehicle and yourself with that weapon. And that law superseded the fish and game law of no loaded rifle up front because that was like a poaching law. But you can have any weapon up front. Now, obviously, if you're driving up on bird hunting and you have a loaded side-by-side in the front seat and fish and game officer pulls you over, you're going to get dinged for that. But they got rid of the loaded rifle law recently. And it's, you have the right to defend yourself with any weapon, including a PKM. So, cool.
Including a PK.
Yeah. Hunting with suppressors is legal. Hunting predators with thermals legal. constitutional carry, machine guns. It's all shall issue. It's a shall issue state for everything. So it's cool.
Well, we are about halfway through this episode, so we're going to go on to our next segment, which is called From the Soapbox. It's where we talk policy, our biggest frustrations, and our gripes against the ATF, which is going to be fun. This segment is brought to you by Patriot Mobile. Make sure to go to Patriot Mobile and use code GOA. That gets you 1 month free with Patriot Mobile. Great pro freedom cell phone service that you can get away from those big carriers. Again, that's Patriot Mobile. Use code GOA for 1 month free on your bill. So, from the soapbox, we're going to talk about what is one thing in the industry that you would change right now.
I would make all the major gun companies that use poster child brovets that they pass around. Like, this person works here, doesn't work there anymore, now works here. There's just this, like, I don't know why, but all these major companies have someone in marketing that's like, we have to have this guy because he did this. And you're just like, come on, start working with smaller companies. Like, I'm a super tiny company. ANR, we have like 11 employees, but companies like SIG are super cool. SIG has us doing holsters for their store and for their web store. HK just picked this up. That's cool. We're tiny. They've got 1 million people to choose from, but they chose to work with us. I think your biggest bang for your buck, if you're going to get influencers working for you, is you should start working with the major corporations, should start getting essentially a Rolodex or a library of smaller influencers on social media that have, just because someone has 1 million followers on Instagram doesn't mean that their conversion rate's good. Or maybe their target audience is a bunch of boomer dudes that wish, oh, I was a paper pusher in the military and I wish I had deployed. Oh, this guy so-and-so is a Ranger CAG former, whatever, TAC P. And instead of like always picking those guys to rep your brand and you're going to get X out of them and it's not worth the $250,000 you pay them a year to rep your product, like maybe work with smaller companies that might have smaller followings that are pushing out quality information. They're not always just shilling. They're not saying the wrong model numbers for things. They're not telling you that this caliber and this is the best thing you should carry, but they're going to get more. These smaller companies, I think, have more active followers. You get someone with 10,000 followers that those people are going to beat pavement for your brand. Everything that they show up to and go to, like, let's say SIG picks someone real small to work with. That person is going to be so proud to work for a company like SIG or FN or whatever. They're going to go balls to the wall for that company. And they might not have millions of followers, but they're going to leave an impact. Now, you could have a fleet of those people at the same cost that you're going to pay a big name and probably get a better reach.
You are preaching to the choir, brother. I was a marketing manager for an ammo company a couple of years ago. And I had my system. My system was like, I call this the small guys. So small guys would be like 1 to 10,000 subs. Cool. I need 20 or 30 of them because they're not going to ask for much. And I know I can get them and I'm going to get a bigger ROI out of them from just because I don't know how you feel, but if anybody sends anything for free, oh my God, thank you. Like, that's the world. And then I go 10 about 55. I'd call them my small, medium guys. I get a good chunk of them. Then I go 50,000 to like 250,000 subs. Those were my bigger, medium, larger guys. And I do them. I knew each one. I knew who I would get and how much more reach I would get. And then I'd have like a stable of like the two or three like tactical toolbox, one of the larger guys, and maybe IV88 or maybe. It's so much better ROI. And again, my opinion is it's so much better ROI to have a stable between 10 to 250,000 subs and have that big stable than having 3 of the large guys that I'm paying, like you said, almost $500,000 to. or $250,000 or whatever you got to pay them to do a video or anything, where I could have all these guys send them a case of ammo.
Yeah.
And they'll be happy for some of them 10 videos, some of them 5 videos, but I get 5 or 6 videos out and 10 people. And then all these people are now talking and they're conjoined reach and they will push the living daylights out of you.
Yeah. Can you imagine having just vlogging reels on Instagram? You have 10,000 followers, you build a couple cool guns a year, you shoot, people follow you for that. And then some major manufacturers like pick 3 pistols a year and 1 rifle a year. We'll hook it up. Just do some cool content for us. Thanks. Like, oh my God, those dudes will give you so much back.
Oh, and I don't understand.
Not even a gun, but I mean,
but that's the thing.
I got a gun.
It even with the smaller guys, like this is what I love about the smaller guys. They come in and they'll be, this is who I am. I know my following's not big, but this is what I'll do for you. And I'm grateful. And they're always grateful. They're always willing to push. You call them at the, hey, I got this going on. Can you push it? Yeah, I'll push it. It was a lot better to have those than, and you'll see it at SHOT, is they'll come in and you'll get the smaller guys and they're like, yeah, I know I've got 10,000 subs. I'm not a big channel, but if anything will help.
Yeah.
I'll push it real hard. And when they get stuff, they push the living daylights out of it. It's better than, instead of like, I'm not gonna say any names, but somebody could, you don't know who I am. You know who I meant.
Sure.
Like
or risk.
Yeah.
Not risk of investment, but like the bigger dudes or bigger people or bigger whatever entities, if there's any drama associated with them, negative drama, that impacts your brand.
Oh yeah.
So if some big corporation, gun company picks this person and that person gets arrested or does this or that, then you've got millions of people going, how could they? Why? The writing was on the wall. Why did they hire that person? And then you assume all this risk involved with a super famous person. So that you get that caveat. You got both directions. You got the, okay, they have a good reach, but is their reach the people that I want to hit? Sure. If you're whatever. Anyway, so, but you're also assuming a bunch of risk involved with that person. And it could be a negative risk if something happens, whereas if one of your smaller influencers gets a DUI or someone, no one's going to know about it. No one's going to talk about it. And it's not going to impact, I mean, I'm saying DUI, but like whatever, you see celebrities get DUIs and it's all over the news, right? But your neighbor gets a DUI, no one hears about it. So there's a lot less risk involved as well.
No, there's not only a lot less risk, but for the same amount of money or even half the amount of money I would have invested into a large guy, I can invest that into 100, 200 smaller guys theoretically across the board and get double the reach and double the push and be more grateful and more thankful. And they're not asking for, I had somebody reach out asking for $30,000 worth of product a month. And I was like, well, what's my ROI? I don't know. People do it. I'm like, that's not how this works. I need ROI. But if a small guy would go, hey, I need 1,000 rounds a month. Okay, what's my ROI? Well, this is what I'm doing in affiliate marketing. This is what I'm doing here. This is how many views I've gotten so far. This is what, my numbers. Okay, cool. There's my number. There's my math. There's my proven ROI.
Sure. And the same works with small companies like manufacturing. Yeah. Like, I'm nobody. We're nobody. Our shop's nobody. We work really hard, but we got attention from some of the bigger shops and we make holsters for them now, and we're so blessed to be able to have those relationships and have, we work with PSA, HK, SIG, FN, Car Arms, like Beretta, and I gotta say, yeah, I make white label holsters for all these companies and it's the coolest thing. And it's so much fun working with them and you get to get new guns ahead of schedule. You get to, hey, I want to do a YouTube video on it too. Sure. I'll write a blog about it. Like I'll help with the release as well as support the aftermarket as well as provide, OEM white label for your web store at a really good price. And, no MOQ. You want to order 10 on a PO, you want to order 2,000 on a PO, we'll take care of it at the same price. you get the same benefit working with smaller companies. You get one dude in a garage shop, holsters, making holsters for Glock or something like that. That dude is going to give Glock 150% effort, to deliver them the best that they can. Maybe their consumer base isn't that big, but they get an opportunity because they networked well. Same thing works with smaller manufacturers as well.
Yeah, and I couldn't agree more. I mean, just working with, I guess at the time Q was not that big. They were getting big. We did some stuff with 8.6 early on when I was at Faxon, and it was the same thing. Like the amount of effort, or even like, a good example would be like Hornady, working with all the barrel manufacturers on launching new ammo. They were always very receptive of getting new barrels out and getting stuff out when it came to new ammo lines.
They make 6GT for GA Precision. I want to say the real name out loud. Yeah. I shoot 6GT.
But we saw it with like what 224 Valkyrie, and then their new what's it called, the 338 ARC.
It's 338 ARC, 6 ARC.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Every time they come out with a new caliber, they were sending specs over, getting stuff going. Like, that's cool. That's what we need. We need more collaborations between larger the companies in the aftermarket and the smaller companies to get stuff pushed.
And it's crazy. There's some big companies, I won't name like weapon light brands, but like if I call Surefire, I'm like, hey guys, I need CAD for your new light. They're like, oh, here's 3 lights. Here's the CAD. Whatever else you need. Oh, our holster lights, because we use like the rear lights, the real guns to test fit everything. Hey, we blew out a bunch of XC1 rail kits, like 30 show up, now we can refurb all our lights so they're working, but there are major brands that were like, hey, can we get the CAD? They're like, no, China one time stole this. And I'm like, first of all, we're a reputable brand. Second of all, just throw a non-disclosure at it that will literally lace me up for the rest of my life if I violate it. Oh, well, we had one person leak stuff to China, or maybe China just copied you. Like, and it happens a lot with some brands where they'll get a change of leadership or something, like, we can't share info. It's like, just give me an NDA every year, put it on the calendar, make me sign a 5-year, send me the CAD, send me some samples. Don't make me pay for it. Like, there's some gun companies that send guns because we have to cut the tool. Tool costs a lot of money. Yeah. My tools cost like if you actually quantify cost of tools and R&D and like revisions, it's like probably $2,000 a tool.
It's insane.
And then, if a company hits you up like, oh, we want OEM holsters, I was like, cool, give me the gun for free and we'll cover the tooling. So I don't have to buy the gun and the tooling, because it's going to take time to, make margins back. Oh, you're only over $200 a year. Like, cool. Like, not making my money back. So, be nice with guns. Yeah. Give them away. It's okay.
Yeah. Give them away. No, you're talking about the China thing. It's funny. The first time I've dealt with it was SHOT Show the one year. I watched a guy walk up to talking to Canik. It was when they launched the Mechanic Optic. That was Janik. I'm sorry. Hey, Adam was on the show. He said both. My
wife is half Turkish.
Okay, so you win this. So they just came out with it, and I'm sitting there talking to Brandon Finch over there. We're having a conversation, and I look over it, and this dude comes over. He puts his thumb against the optic, and it's taking pictures, and Brandon's like, get out. And the guy's like, oh, what do you mean? He goes, I know what you're doing. Get out.
Yeah.
But they do it all the time. They'll come to shows. They know this. They know the measurement of this. They'll just snap a picture with everything on there. Yeah.
2 of our optic mounts are being sold on a Chinese airsoft optic gear company. You made it. Also, introduce me to Brandon.
Oh.
I need Canik CAD.
I'll introduce you to Brandon and them. But it's funny, like, is that the sign that you made it? That China starts knocking you?
I don't know. I was like looking at the price of it, like $27. It says may not hold 0, might not actually hold onto your rail depending on model of airsoft. I'm just like, all right, good. Do you want to buy some? Maybe not. It's crazy though. Like, the Japanese hate knockoff Chinese airsoft. We have a ton of customers from Japan buying optic mounts. like the real deal. They're all cloners over there. Oh yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Is it that big in Japan?
Yeah. Well, I mean, 2 of my optic mounts have, or 3 of them have NATO stock numbers because they're in service. So the Japanese love cloning military guns, and they have like the highest quality airsoft guns, and they will pimp those things out with the real deal. They'll buy real optics if they can. ITAR stuff. They'll try to acquire ITAR stuff out of country, get it into them. Like they can't buy from the US for a lot of ITAR stuff, but they'll, buy from Europe, buy from Asia that has, they'll buy real EOTechs, they'll buy all that stuff. Makes their way over to Japan. Yeah. Oh, they love it. They're cool as hell.
You gotta meet some of these guys.
They're wild dudes.
I didn't know it was that big in Japan.
The chicks too are into airsoft. Yeah. It's like you're looking at your Instagram metrics, like where people are like watching your channel from or whatever. And Japan's one of like the top 10. Yeah.
It's nuts. And I didn't think Japan. I know Britain had a big airsoft community.
Yeah. Yeah. Britain's cool too.
It's funny how people with the most restricted gun control laws are like this most big into airsoft too.
Yeah. It's because they can't have it. So they want to get as close as they can to feeling cool. I mean, it is cool. Airsoft's cool. Clone airsoft is super cool. It's like when someone gets a tattoo and they say it's a true, like I got this for so and so. It's like, no, you didn't. You got it because you think it's cool. That's why you're showing everyone. Yeah. It's just cool. Enjoy it.
Well, let's get into some spicy stuff. You've been straight to the point on a lot of your stuff and almost blunt with your marketing.
Marketing?
Or marketing and firearms and gear reviews.
Sure.
So, first off, why are you so blunt? And what do you think that's helped you guys grow?
It's a great question. I'm from Massachusetts. We're talking about this earlier. There's a comedian who was talking about how people from New England, especially Massachusetts, we're not nice, we're kind. And this comedian did this bit where it was like, I moved to California, car broke down, and people drive by like, oh, I'm so sorry your tires popped, whatever. Like, have a good day. Good luck. Hope your day gets better. And then people from Mass are like, they'll pull over and help someone change a tire if they don't know how to do it, but they'll make fun of you the whole time. That's kind of how we are, and it definitely burns bridges. That kind of like, if I have a problem with someone, it's like, yeah, why did you do this? Like, it's so blunt, right? And then people from Texas, West Coast are like, oh, he's mean, but it's all out of like care, improvement, want to see people improve. And that's been tough. I've definitely been a little too blunt to some people. Some people are too sensitive and can't take it. And then they take that as like, bad talk. I'm trying not to swear, but they take it as being rude, but if you got to look at the perspective of it, like where is it coming from? And, should I do reviews? Like I make plastic buckets, guys, can only be so sexy, like how do I make this holster super sexy? Like, okay, I'm a shooter. I'm going to do review content on YouTube because like, if you only see pictures of holsters on an Instagram page, are you going to follow that company?
No.
You're going to want to follow someone who is speaking candidly about products, making products for stuff that they believe in. Now, granted, we do make some holsters for some lights that I don't believe in, but everyone's money's the same. I wanted to do something fun. I wanted to make it fun. And I think that since we do have a lot of opportunities, we get these guns and we get all these accessories ahead of it. Like new lights are coming out, new guns. We get them so far ahead of schedule, 6 months, maybe even a year in advance. CZ, back when CZ was like mega cool before Colt, they used to send us guns. I was the first person in the United States outside of CZ that had a P10. The original P10 prototype trigger was the best out of the box trigger of any gun ever made. And they got rid of it because of cost. But I was like, don't get rid of this trigger. Like we've had some really cool opportunities to get some cool guns. And it opened up, I saw that window and said, why don't we just make content? Make sure that it's a gun that's production ready, not a prototype. Get permission, film it, when it comes out at launch, there's some cool content that's coming out at launch day. And I'm an engineer. I have a bachelor's in engineering and I'm mechanical, and I went to school for an MBA and dropped out before I finished, very close to finish. And I just said, screw it. But it's one of those things like, why not provide candid, unadulterated perspective? Now, I don't think anyone should listen to me. You know, it's my perspective. You should form your own perspective of things. But if we can help guide people through that journey a little bit, save them some money, why not?
Well, that's the thing with watching reviews and stuff. I've had this argument in a past job. It's like if AAC ammo were only to advertise ammo, like that's not sexy.
No.
Ammo is not sexy. You need a gun.
Well, I don't know. I think it is.
Well, but you need a gun to make it sexy and advertise it. And I've had this argument with people.
Ammo is sexy if you know ballistics.
Well, to the average consumer, a picture of a 9mm is not sexy.
Sure.
But you need the sexy gun to get the ammo sold.
Yes.
Yeah, I've had this argument with people.
It's
ridiculous.
So there's two perspectives to it, right? So let's say we get a pre-production prototype gun, like FN super cool.
Yeah.
Love FN. FN's like, dude, shoot it. The day you get it, go shoot it. Tell me what you like and don't like about it. I will give them feedback. If they don't change that until the production gun comes out, I'm still going to talk about it in a video. I'm going to say, hey, these mag extensions here for the extended mags for this gun are sharp. And this is what I did to soften them up so they're less sharp. I do enjoy this gun, but this is something I don't like about this gun. If you're always just like on YouTube, all these, like you see a gun come out, you see everyone post a new video, and it's always like, oh, this is the best gun ever. Like, that's not real. There's problems with every single gun that come out. Ergonomics, maybe the slide stop's in the wrong location, and certain hand sizes can ride that slide stop. I've had triggers lock up on me, I've broken cans, I've blew cans apart, you know. I've had people send me cans to do reviews, and then I've had cans literally blow up, and I'm like, hey, I can't not post this online. Like, first of all, no one pays us to do reviews. It's usually like, hey, since we made a holster for you, can I do a YouTube video on it? They're like, absolutely. And I've already provided my feedback, you know? And then there's other times where I buy something that's brand new and then kick myself for buying it before it's been tested by other people because I'm a glutton for punishment. I want to find out I want to find out what's good and bad about it. And then people are like, why did you buy that? I was like, I don't know. It sucked. You know, why didn't you wait for reviews to come out on it? Because I wanted to do a review on it. You know,
I've done the same. I've done the same thing in the past. There's been a couple guns where I knew they were bad. I'm like, do I want to give this a chance? I'm going to give it a chance.
Yeah.
And then immediately the R51 comes to mind. I like it. I was like, this thing looks cool. Everyone's like, this is a piece of garbage. Like, it looks cool. Then I buy it. I'm like, it shoots okay, but it's sharp in the places everybody said it was sharp and it hurts, but it still looks cool. It's yeah.
Yeah. Or like a friend comes out with a rifle and I buy it to be like a homie and be like, yeah, dude, I'm going to support you. And then it's like super overpriced. And I was like, why is it this expensive? Provide feedback. You're like, okay, these things are dumb. Why'd you do it this way? And why is it this expensive? And they're just like, oh, well, you know, starting this costs money. And I'm like, no, it's going to bite you in the ass in the long run. And then they come out and the rifle drops like $500, $700, $800 in 3 months of owning it. I'm like,
yeah,
you just screwed over your foundation base of customers that are now looking at the price of the same weapon system that has been improved from the first run. That's not a good look, you know? But I'm going to be honest.
No.
I mean,
I like that.
And I tell them like, this is a problem. Did you fix it? No. Okay. I'm still going to talk about it. I'm not going to make it horrible, but I'm going to bring attention to it.
Well, and that's the same thing. Like, Ross Martin's a new company.
Sure.
Right? When I was talking to Chris over there, he's like, try out my gun and let me know what you think. I said, okay, I'll try out your gun. So I call him. I'm like, here's the issues. Trigger's good. I like the way it shoots. You need more grip texture up here. You need more pronounced stuff here. And he goes, thank you. And he's like, that's going to come in Gen 2 or 3 or whatever. it's people like that we need more of in the industry. Instead of being so butthurt when somebody gives you a bad review, take the constructive criticism and build off of it. Because if you have that issue, there's got to be like a bunch of other people. I want to say 90%, but that's just it's such a high number. But there's a bunch of other people who have the same issue that you had. They need to just take it and go, cool, we got to fix it.
Like, hey, Chris, your guns are based off of the ARX Delta. Why?
Oh, I've asked him that.
Yeah. And he gives you an honest answer. It's like, yeah, starting a gun company is expensive. Really expensive. I mean, you look at companies that make good products, and then there's people in the US who are like, that's a great product, but it's never going to do well here because it's X, Y, and Z. It's made here or this, that, and another. And if you have an opportunity to do licensing, it's saving a lot of steps, and you can enhance the product, have it made in the United States, make it in the United States, and then improve in the US market without having that, like we talked about Europe earlier. Europeans are stuck in their ways. So, but Americans aren't, because like we're so lucky that we have the most diverse firearms market on planet Earth. And we have we find individuality through our firearms. You got the dudes that put red anno on their ARs and skeletonize it and think it's the coolest thing ever. And then you got the dudes that go full clone, trying to get stolen government property to put on their guns, whatever. But that creates individuality for their guns. It's the same way people put racing stripes on a Honda Civic, or whatever. It gives you that individuality. And we like to express ourselves through the ability to customize stuff. And other countries don't have that luxury, and we do. So if you like a platform that's tanking in America, but you have an opportunity to enhance that brand and create a platform that you've put your touch on it and then it becomes yours, why not?
Alex, again, thank you for being on. I appreciate it. Go ahead and tell people where they can find you, all that fun stuff.
Thank you so much for listening to me ramble. I do a lot of rambling on Instagram. We do Ask Me a Questions almost every day. So if you have any questions for me, just go on our Instagram, which is ANR Design LLC, and ask me a question. I answer video response to all those questions. We have a YouTube channel. Just look up ANR Design LLC on YouTube, Twitter, LinkedIn, all of them. Anyway, thank you so much. If you own one of our products, thank you so much for your patronage to the brand. And thank you so much for having me.
No, I appreciate you being on. I could have ranted for another 20, 30 minutes, but
yeah, we can talk.
We could talk. Guys, thank you for watching. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Hit the little bell for notification. Leave a 5-star review on all podcasting hosts, and we will see you on the next one.